Hi, this is Congressman Joe Courtney. I'm speaking to you from the Rayburn Building in Washington, D.C. It's Wednesday, January 23rd. Unfortunately, yesterday marked the 1 month mark in the government shutdown for 25% of the agencies that provide critical services all throughout the nation and our economy. And I just wanted to give you again an update regarding what floor action is taking place in the House of Representatives today and tomorrow. As the news report, the Senate is going to be taking up measures as well. Before I do, again, I just want to share with you some of the input that I've had from Eastern Connecticut. Yesterday, I had a long talk with a gentleman from Canterbury, Connecticut, who serves on the Coast Guard Academy faculty. He's also a Coast Guard retiree. Again, if this shutdown is not resolved by the end of the month, which is the second pay period for Coast Guard personnel as well as other department personnel throughout the closed agencies. He also will be deprived of his retiree benefits for his time that he served in the Coast Guard. So it is a major financial hit for a gentleman like this, as well as many of his colleagues that serve throughout these agencies. I also spoke to Admiral Schultz, who's the Commandant of the Coast Guard, a couple days ago, who again is a great ally of Connecticut. He grew up in East Hartford, Connecticut, and again, we talked about some of the activities of the Coast Guard that are not necessarily that well known. They actually, again, do their work not just adjacent to the homeland. They do overseas deployments. He again described the fact that a couple days ago that the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Bertholf, which is a national security cutter, departed Alameda, California for the Indo-Pacific region, where they'll be working alongside the Navy in terms of freedom of navigation operations. There are 6 cutters overseas in the Persian Gulf that again are part of the 5th Fleet operations there to again make sure that freedom of navigation continues through the Straits of Hormuz, where again major commercial and cargo traffic flow every single day. Again, the point that I think he wants to emphasize is that these sailors and officers serve under the direction of the U.S. Navy, 5th Fleet in the Persian Gulf, 7th Fleet in the Indo-Pacific region. They are totally integrated with the Navy, and the Navy personnel that they serve with are being paid because the Department of Defense is not affected by the shutdown. Yet these folks who provide critical operations, which I've actually seen on some overseas trips, particularly in Bahrain, again are essential to carrying out that maritime mission. Again, that is just an example of other activities that the Coast Guard is doing in the Eastern Caribbean, as well as all the support services that again are part of that. Yesterday we met with 2 Coast Guard spouses who actually live in the DC area, who again gave the update regarding the difficulty that their families are experiencing. We see this obviously in New London with food banks that have popped up. Again, there are other agencies like the Department of State where people are serving overseas in very hazardous parts of the world, and described the other day a conversation that I had with a gentleman who is in Afghanistan from Waterford, Connecticut, who again is trapped in this shutdown. So again, all of this just reinforces the need for this to end. Today we are going to be voting on House Joint Resolution 28, which would reopen the government and immediately get all pay restored and dispersed to folks who are affected by it. Again, this will be the 9th vote that's taken place since the new Congress convened on January 3rd. All of these have passed. And then on tomorrow, we're going to give another version, which is House Resolution 628, which fully funds 6 of the agencies, includes actually border security money for port of entry scanning equipment, making sure that immigration courts are better funded so that they can move through the backlog of the asylum cases, which President Trump referred to the other day, as well as funding to get to the source of the flow of people that are coming from Central America. Again, I want to just emphasize, these are not just proposals, these are bills that have been enacted, or passed rather, in the House and are in Mitch McConnell's inbox, and he can take them up whenever he using his own discretion, decides to do so. There is nothing in the Constitution that requires the President of the United States to pre-approve bills before they get voted on in either chamber. So it is good news that 2 votes are going to take place on Thursday in terms of competing proposals to end this shutdown. But frankly, the leader of the Senate for the last 30 days has had other options, and we're going to give him more after today and tomorrow's proceedings to end this shutdown. Again, we are very focused in our office in terms of talking to folks from one end of the district, from Union and Stafford all the way down to the shoreline, to make sure that their voices are heard during this debate. And again, I will continue to do everything we can using every tool that the U.S. House of Representatives have to end this shutdown and get on with it as a nation in terms of important challenges and work that we need to focus on. Thank you for listening, and please feel free to contact our office. We welcome those calls and input. And again, just want to tell you it's an honor to represent this part of the state of Connecticut. Thank you.